So this is the real some detection from the DEPT findings. This deadlock cannot be detected by the lock depth, right? So because I will share this link from the into the description after this session, but in this point are important, right? Pidgin locked are tri-lock. This is the waiter, not the lock. So this is the important point. So lock depth are not draw a dependency graph for the waiter. They focus on lock, not the waiting context, right? So this folio tri-lock, there is some waiting for the event. This is not the lock, right? So, right. But depth are we define how they can find the lock, deadlock situation from the circular dependency. So we can find the deadlock situation for the wait bit, right? Pidgin lock. This is the wait for the some event, right? So this is the mail from the Linus Torvalds. So Linus Torvalds asked to Byung-Chul. So lock depth, there's limitation for their implementation. So I think that can report it. So Byung-Chul, please testing about it, and some other member from the mailing list are found the deadlock situation for that. So he reproduced it and reporting it, and this is the real bug in the Linux kernel, right? So this is the way. This is from the waiter, right? This bug from the some deadlock from the some waiter in this context, right? So someone reproduced it from the Igalia, and he found that, and this is some something that lock depth have to improve something improvement for this context. It seems lock depth depends on predefined annotation about bit text, right? I'm curious how depth handle if it doesn't rely on annotated symbol. Depth also need to annotation, right? Good question. Good. Great question. But lock depth have a limitation for the waiter, right? So, but the depth have some concept that redefine some deadlock condition. So depth also, depth will also find deadlock situation if there are some waiter from the context and making some dependency from that context each other, right? So adding the annotation is easy, right? There are so many annotation are implemented by the lock depth. So depth can utilize that point that some almost 20 years adding I'm looking forward your review about DEPT implementation through the code review. Great. If there's some time after the my conference, dev conference, I will investigate DEPT implementation and I will review the internal code of the DEPT, right? So I can skip this situation, but right, like that people add this handling for this, and right. Great, thank you. So as you know, general weight are making some dependency from the redefinition from the DEPT, right? So at previous mailing list slide, right, there's some waiting, right? And there's some API, like some DNA fence. This is the null, right? This is the waiting some and want to occurring some event, right? And right, thank you are seeing the future, right? Annotating waiting event, right? And we can utilize lock depth annotation from the lock context, right? So we can add these things, right? From the right, good. And this is the another point that benefit from the redefinitioning by the DEPT. I need to explain what is the RW locks, right? So folks, you need to some great advantage for the RW locks, right? RW locks, there's a read lock and write lock, right? But when the read locks, if there are some other read locks for that lock something, they can not want to holding the lock, right? They can read it, the critical section. But if there are writer for the context and they hold the lock, they need to reading. So if there are some context that locking the read, some other context want to some only read some context, the critical section for only the read lock, they can read the lock. So this is the great advantage for the RW lock. And writer, right? If there's critical section that protected by the write lock, writers need to waiting for the ended all the read lock and write lock, right? So there would be some great advantage for the read context, right? So if there are some workload that only the reading in the critical section, they can get advantage from this, right? This is the great point of the RW lock, right? So we can simply define in this situation, right? So read lock, and there is read lock and right. So read lock B only waiting for the write unlock B, right? So we don't care about the read unlock B, right? So this care about the write unlock, right? Right. And in this situation, the unlock A event A. So event A depends on the write unlock from the B, right? So we can draw from A event A depend on occurring write unlock from the B, right? And write B is care the two case read unlock and write unlock, right? So we can draw this situation at 2 point. If there are some event that read unlock and write unlock, this depends on A depends on these two events, so we can draw this diagram. So we care about only the event, wait and event, right? And if someone using the lock DEPT, there is some very sad point, very sad, right? Very sad, right? I suffered from this when I thought, right? If there's some manual time, right? You can assume my experience. I want to fought it, and I run it when I before the sleep, and I awake the morning. There is one case only that like that always reporting for one case, right? And they never report after that, right? So right, like that only one report it, right? This because from the LockDev's internal their implementations limitation, right? They only one reporting it, right? But that reporting are morely not false positive, right? Almost there is some issue, right? This makes some horrible we call the nogada, right? In Korea, there is some harsh coding things that if there's no way we can off that situation, we turn off the config for the lockdown, or we need to some remove or making on unconfig that the whole subsystem, right? If you want some real report. But if this occurred from the another system, what would be the case for the false positive? Simple example might be helpful for understanding, right? I need to some example for what you're saying, and I heard that some people that suffered from the lockdown, they don't believe the lockdown reporting. In 10 years from in 10 years ago, there's a lockdown have many report for the false positive for so many kernel developer are annotating it and enhance things in that, and they have mostly they not report as false positive, and I think we can find easily for the searching the mailing list for the false positive for the lock debt. So I will share it after this meeting. So this is the harsh job, right? This is right. DEPT are not reporting once. They continuously reporting. So if there are circumstances that deadlock from the MPU when I using some AI things, right? Kernel making some log of issue, so we can find some report from the kernel log from the DEPT, right? We can easily find it, right? DEPT are mostly reporting it, right? Right. So I think this is the important point for the case, because if there's some reporting from the lock dev in the booting sequence from the kernel, we cannot find the real use case for the log up in the MPU when we using MPU. Lock dev is like putting breakpoint at false true positive deadlock point. Right. Right. So we can add some ignore the oops or something like that. Kernel will be execution their state, but I think when we found some bug in the Linux kernel, we can usually some oops on panic for the point. So you can see the situation that kernel always rebooting for the runtime reporting for that. It is not good, right? If there is some booting point and that are not the real case for the Deadlock, right? This is sad, right? This wasting the time and my some fee, electricity fee, right? Forging is very consume the electricity for the my computer, right? So, right, false positive need to some enhancement for the DEPT, right? But that are not stop the reporting, and they continuously reporting the some circular dependency, right? So we can review from the question, right? So if you someone want to some lower percent of the false positive using lockdown, your choice, right? But the lockup is occurred that from the very complex situation that include some wait and want to event using that, right?